Hello, hello. I can never see your face too many times in a week.
I feel the same way.
Hi, guys. Let's see who we got here. Thank you guys for being here. Let's see. All right. We got a great group of people here. Let me grab this lovely workbook that I know you guys are all going to want. Let me grab that for you. Mm-mm-mm. How are we today?
Fabulous. How about you?
I'm incredible. I couldn't be any better.
Are you going to Houston?
I am. Are you?
I thought about it. I'm going to go party with Laura,
Heck yeah, you are. Let's do it.
but I told myself I got to sell something before I go.
Let's do that. Let's make that happen.
Okay.
We got that. All day, twice on Saturday. All right. Let me get back here. All right. All right, folks. I don't have to let anybody in the room. Everybody's here. Um, Larissa's here. She said she's on work computer. Don't worry. I got you. And I am dropping in the chat the link to this fantabulous workbook that I know you're going to want. Don't complain to me about how thick it is. Y'all know I like thick workbooks. But this is super condensed from what I started with. It was like 50 some pages, and I just can't cram it all in. So it's going to be okay. Um, Let me share my screen. I got to start building in a buffer from one appointment to another so that I'm not running behind. I'm so sorry, y'all. These people just keep loading up my calendar, which is not a bad problem to have. It's good. Okay. Let me see who we got in the room here. If you would drop in the chat for me, um, how long you been in business and why you came to this class today. Like, what's your goal with agent attraction? What are you hoping to accomplish? Why did you come here to learn more about agent attraction? Or did you just come because I begged you to? Drop that in the chat for me if you don't mind. I love you people at work that showed up for yourselves too. 6 years this summer. Larissa is on a mission to grow her network. I love that. Zach is my son, in case you didn't know, and he said my mommy made me, so that's nice. I love that. Thanks for being a good boy. Felicia wants to be like me, a real estate badass. Oh, girl, I hope that you're going to be way better than me, and I know you will be. I have no doubt. All right. I wrote this class because agent attraction is just another method for us to earn a living. It's another avenue for us to produce revenue. It is also for me not about how much money I can make off of the agents that I bring to our company. It's about sharing an incredible opportunity with people that don't even know it exists. It's about sharing a company I am going to talk agnostically, like it doesn't matter what company you work for. I would imagine I think most everybody here is at the same company, but there are some people that are not. And so I think agent interaction is important because you want to surround yourself with people you like. You want to surround yourself with people that you admire, that you respect, right? And the way that you do that is by bringing the people that you admire, respect to work with you, right? The other part is about opportunity. I have been doing this. I'll give you a quick introduction for those of you that don't know me. My name is Laura Dahl. I've been in real estate for 25 years. I've sold in four states, Virginia, Tennessee, no, Virginia, South Carolina, Tennessee, and North Carolina. I have owned two brokerages in my 25-year career, one of which I sold in a declining market for money at the boom of 2008 when nobody was giving you money for anything. So I do know what it takes to build an organization. I know what it takes to build teams. I run a team currently in Tennessee and in North Carolina. I teach how to build teams. I teach others how to grow their network and grow their organizations. And recruiting for me, even though we call it agent attraction because we're trying to attract agents that we're proud of, agents that we respect, agents that are a good representation of our brand and representation of our company. So we don't really call it recruiting. So just know that. But the reason that this is so important is because a lot of us are, first of all, when you bring people to the company, regardless of what company you are, I like to look at it as that you are giving them an opportunity of a lifetime, especially if it's a company that you are proud to be a part of. If it's a company that provides so much more than other companies, some of this move for some agents can be life-changing. And I know that sounds hokey. I know it sounds a little out there for some, but I will tell you, sometimes I've heard some stories about people that I've brought to this company, and me included, that this company has changed their life. It has saved their life. It has changed their financial future, right? And that is one of the things I want you guys to think about is that when you are considering agent attraction, when you're considering of growing your organization, or maybe you want to grow a team, maybe you are in it for the residual income, whatever that looks like. I want you to think of this as your opportunity to help influence others who trust you and who could potentially provide you with leverage in the future. Everybody agrees with that, right? Right? We have a great responsibility and we have the opportunity to influence other agents. In this workbook, I don't think anybody joined after I dropped the link, but let me just check that real quick. Janine said, we definitely need to grow North Carolina in our downline. I love that, Christy and Angie. Um, Janine says, I just became an area leader and I want more folks on my team. Absolutely. Okay, so one of the things that I get to talk in, if you've ever been in one of my classes, you know sometimes I get on a soapbox. I'm very passionate about what I talk about, and I might not be able to monitor the chat. So if somebody sees that I'm missing something that's really important in the chat, please let me know, and I will take a breath and let you in so that we can answer your question. In this workbook, you're going to have a clear vision for the types of agents you are meant to lead. Now, one thing I want to make a distinction. When you are building a team, you are accepting a role of responsibility, of leadership. Some agents, when they are interested in agent attraction, their only goal is to bring people to the company and then do a handoff. Okay. That is your choice about what kind of leader you want to be, what kind of impact you want to have, and what kind of involvement with the agents you're bringing on board are going to have. But one thing that I will tell you is that while I want to grow my organization, and this year I would like to have 100 agents in my organization. Okay, I'm at like 25. But my company that I owned, I built that to 75 agents, a commercial division, and a property management division in less than 2 years. Okay. So, I don't have these big organizations of like 700 and these big things, but I will tell you what I have used. I don't claim to be an expert in agent interaction, but I will tell you that my methods are more organic. My methods are about relationship building. They're about hitting the pain points that agents have, and they're about presenting an opportunity in a way where it's a no-brainer, right? Why aren't I working with you? Right? So I want you to keep a couple things in mind here that when I'm talking about growing your organization, in my mind, I'm talking about you having a role in these people's career. Now, you get to decide how big that role is. You get to decide how involved you are. But my advice to you is if you're going to bring people to the company, you don't bring them to the company and then abandon them, regardless of what company you're at. You bring people to the company and then you have a structured system that onboards them properly. Make sure that they're assimilated and that they're adjusting well. You're checking back in to make sure they're set up on everything. Do they understand where they can find everything? Do they know where they can go for resources and support? You have an obligation. And if you want to build an organization that pays you long term or where people stay and have retention, in my opinion, you cannot just bring them in and abandon them and dump them off. You have to have a role that continues to support them. Now, your support is going to look different for different people. Christy and I might be all hands on and available and accessible to our people at all time, where other people might have better boundaries than us and say, hey, you can only reach me during these hours. Okay. You get to decide what that looks like. Not that Christy doesn't have better boundaries. She probably has way better boundaries than I do. But I'm just getting at the point that you guys get to decide what your level of involvement in these people's career is. But my advice to you is please don't bring them in and abandon them. That is not how you keep agents long term. That's not how you build a profitable revenue share that pays you month after month. It doesn't do you any good to bring 50 people in if 40 turn around and leave in the next 60, 90 days, right? That's not what anybody wants. We can all agree to that, right? So we're going to commit to a certain level of involvement. We're going to commit to a certain level of being ingrained in these people's business, at least enough to know, are you doing well? Do you need any additional support? Do you know where to find everything? So I want you to have a vision for the types of agents you want to attract. Because some people on this call will attract anybody who's got a license. And that's okay. That's for you to decide. Okay. For me personally, I'm building an organization of people that I like, people that I work well with, people that I think I am proud to be in business with. Okay. It's not everybody who has a license, they don't fit my criteria. I have criteria that I lean on because I'm building something that I would not want to bring someone to this company that doesn't meet the ethical, moral standards that I live by. I would not bring somebody to this company that treats people disrespectfully or that is hard to work with or difficult. That's my decision. Okay. I want to build a company of people that I am proud to be associated with. So that's my criteria. I want you to have your own. I want you to build relationships that are rooted in trust, alignment, and respect. How many of us have been recruited, and I say recruited, people tried to recruit us through a direct message on Facebook, somebody you haven't talked to in 25 years, or somebody who invited you to an event and you showed up at the event and now it's a recruiting pitch and you had no idea, right? That's not trust. That's a bait and switch. And that does not work well for your people. Nobody wants to be sold to, right? And nobody wants to be baited and switched. If you tell them and you invite them to an event, make sure they know what the event is going to entail. Make sure they understand what they're signing up for. That's trust. Alignment is equally important that I want to be in alignment with them. I know what their needs are. I know what their pain points are. I know why they're frustrated at their current brokerage and I have a solution for it. Okay? And then the respect part is doesn't require any additional explanation. I want you to build confident, value-driven conversations that feel natural and ethical. I want your scripts and the language that you use to feel comfortable, where you're not doing a hard sell. If this is done correctly, it's not going to feel difficult. If it's done correctly, the words are going to be natural. You are going to be authentic. You are going to be genuine in the reasons that you think this company might be a great fit for them. Okay? I want you to build systems that support your agents long after they say yes. This goes back to not abandoning them. Okay. What does your onboarding system look like for an agent that you recruit or that you attract to the company? Once they sign up, what are you doing? So for me, I have systems from the moment that they get on my calendar all the way through their anniversary dates with the company. How am I staying involved with them, in touch with them, engaged with them? What systems do I have in place to keep them engaged? Because you can get people to the company because they're at the height of their excitement when they first join. But how do you keep them excited 30 days later? I want you guys to build a leadership foundation that allows your team to grow sustainably. And that's what we were talking about, where you can add 50 people, but if 40 people leave, you have an attrition problem and you can't retain your people. That's a problem. My mission is simple, and that is to help leaders attract the right agents by becoming the kind of leader people choose to follow. That means you must elevate your leadership skills. Now, if you are planning on just bringing people to the company, making sure they're supported, but you're not really having a daily hand to hand. That's one of the things I love about my company is that we have an area leader support that is local boots on the ground support, and we have a broker. But my people know that they also have me on top of that. So they have a third layer of support. There are people that on this call and people who are going to watch the replay that they don't want that level of responsibility. That's the beautiful thing about the way our company is structured too. You don't have to be the boots on the ground for people. You don't have to walk new agents through how to fill out a contract. We have all that training available. We have those resources available through our area leaders. You don't have to be responsible for that. But if your people need a little bit extra help, maybe you need to refine your leadership skills to better support them. Okay? Agent attraction is not about convincing people to move or chasing numbers. It's really about creating an opportunity and letting all the rest of the alignment do the work. How to use this workbook, I'm going to tell you the way you can get the most out of it is to go through the sections in order. Write honestly. Don't do a lot of self-editing. Take your time. Answer the prompts. Focus on alignment, not volume. And here's the thing. It is momentum. Once you recruit one person or attract one person, it's almost like a drug. You get excited. Oh, I did it. I brought somebody. I've started to build an organization. Now I'm a leader. Well, you feed off of that energy. The person you brought to the company is excited. That's a great opportunity for them to talk to other people about what makes this company unique or why they moved their business there. You want to capitalize on that momentum. You want to take advantage of the timing. Right when somebody comes on board is when they're at the height of their excitement, but they're also nervous. They're scared. Did I make the right decision? You want to reinforce their decision at every step of the way. You want to remind them why this was the right choice for them. And then you want to turn them into advocates to capitalize on the momentum that they have and the energy that they have to bring their friends with them, to bring their whole team with them, to bring their broker owner with them, because it's such an incredible opportunity. I want you to make decisions without overthinking, and I want you to build leadership that attracts the right agents. Um, First thing I want to ask you guys, or what we talk about, is it agent attraction begins with leadership. You must see yourself as some type of leader. And we talked about that. The type of leader you are, you don't have to invest 80 hours a week into your downline in order to support them. You set up systems that allow you to continue to run your business, which is usually buying and selling homes, and also supporting your network of agents that are depending on you to help support their businesses. One thing I will say about this company is that I've had more support at this company than I've ever had at any company I've ever been at. And I've been at several in 25 years. If they weren't my own, they were other people's companies. And this company, the way that it is set up, a lot of the agents that we talk to on agent attraction, they are shocked at how much support they have. They've been at other places where the brokers tell them, don't call me after 5. Don't call me on the weekends. Fill out this form and my virtual assistant will answer your question, right? That is not the, or how about the adverse of that is I've seen brokers where the agents have worked for them for 6 months to a year and they've never closed a single deal. Is that broker checking in saying, how can I help you? Let's look at what you're doing. Let's ask you what your strategies are and who your target client is, and let's see if we can help you drum up some business. Most brokers I know and most leaders that I know in this industry, it is sink or swim. We'll bring you to the company and we'll give you all of our tools, but your success is only going to be dependent on you. This industry is so hard to break into and get started in that new people new to this industry, whether they're brand new agents or whatever, they need help. They need guidance. They need mentorship. And what I love about agent attraction is you get to decide what kind of mentor you want to be. You get to decide how you influence other people in our industry and how you help them navigate this industry. And the beautiful thing about our company is we're not gatekeepers. You have access to the very top of the chain and everything underneath it. So if you happen to be somebody brought you into this company and they abandon you, you're not abandoned because somebody else will scoop you up and pour into you. Someone else will help you navigate this because that's the way our company is built. Because there are enough people here that care about your success that we're not going to watch you flail about and suffer and struggle. We are going to provide you with opportunities to change things. And that is something that separates us from a lot of places. Most brokers say, sink or swim, go out and sell something, and don't bother me unless I'm about to be sued or you have a major problem. And you better hope that problem is not on a Friday at 8 o'clock. What we want to do is make ourselves accessible and available within reason, with boundaries, but we want our agents to know that they have a different level of support than they've probably ever had before. So when you are thinking about leading a team or growing your organization, I want you to ask yourself, what's your why? Just like you do with your business. Why do you want to do this? Is it about the income only? Is it about growing better agents? Is it about building an organization for leverage? I I I created teams for myself so that I had leverage. I was a single mom, raising two kids for most of the time. I needed backup. I got a team, or I had a team so that I was generating more business that I could handle myself. I formed a team so that I could be in more places at once with people that I trusted and trained. That's leverage. So I want you to ask yourself, why do you want to lead a team? Why do you want to lead an organization? Even if it's not a team and you're building an organization, you have some leadership role there. Why? The next question is, what responsibility am I willing to take on as a leader? How ingrained and involved do you want to be? And how ingrained and involved does your people want you to be? Some agents are very resistant. They're very headstrong. They're very independent. They want autonomy to run their business. And so there is a distinction between offering support and then trying to take over or having your hands in everyone's business. You need to find the balance that works for you and your people. Some of your people are going to be, they're willing to let you all in because you've proven that you can be trusted and that you're there to support them. They know you're not going to steal their business. There's people who have had bad experiences at other brokerages and they are not willing to let you into their business that way. They may take some time before they do that. Have any of you had any bad experiences like that that you want to talk about, Heather? Do you want to share that with us? Do you have the chance to?
I had, well, first off, it was, here's your name badge. Good luck.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Sink or swim. So unfortunately, the name badge wasn't a floaty, but
Wasn't
anyway,
enough. Yeah.
supposed to be, I guess. And then, some of the top agents there would get you, would ask because I was newer to them to go do their open houses
Hmm.
or, because of course they didn't want to do it. They had stuck their sign out in the front yard, so they were done.
Yep.
But then this way I found out what they were telling their seller was, oh yeah, I have open houses there every week.
Right.
Do you
And then they
even
were
know
struggling to find a host every week.
right? Do you even know the color of the carpet in the house? No, they didn't know any. I mean, if they didn't look at their pictures, they didn't know anything about the house.
Right.
Anyhow,
Right.
and then it turned a little more ugly when buyers came in, and then the listing agent wanted a referral fee for that
Right.
buyer after I had sat in the open house for 4 hours with no internet, no nothing, just kill, just so
Yeah.
it was a little brutal.
Yeah. So having those experiences tells you exactly how you don't want to do things with your
Right,
agents, right? Because
right.
you know how that made you feel, right?
Well, and that's typical in this area. So
Yes.
it is an area ripe for me to be able to grow a better opportunity for
Yes.
these agents.
Yes. That is going to be your skills. Thank you so much for sharing that, Heather. I appreciate that. Your experience matters, and I appreciate you telling everybody because that's a great example of how you can look at how you may have been treated in the past or an experience that you had at another brokerage and lean into the pain point that you know there's better out there. And we as agents deserve better. Janine, you had your hand up next. I'm coming to you.
Yeah, so I had an experience when I first started out, and I was a brand new to real estate. So I was willing to take all of the advice and mentorship that I could get. And
Sure.
so I joined a team, but what I soon realized is, well, for one thing, even though I'm new to real estate, I'm not new to sales. I've got like
Right.
past experience. I was an events director for years.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I've got the people skills. I know how to show,
Sure.
face, etc. And she was micromanaging me to the point that I wanted to pull my hair out. I wanted to
Hmm.
scream. She wanted me to do every single thing her
Her
way.
way.
We're
Yeah.
not talking about compliance things. It's,
Right. No,
my
just the way
style is,
she ran her business, period. Yeah.
yeah, my style might be a little different than your style. And this is how I approach things. And she just didn't want to hear it. And then ultimately, she wanted me to learn, and I was okay with that. I was hosting all of her open houses.
Hmm.
Um, and then the last straw was I literally procured the buyer at one of these open houses. And the buyer had an agent, but nothing was signed. And she literally told me that I don't want to work with that agent. I want to work with you. So that would mean that, my team lead obviously got the listing and I would get the buy side. Well, that didn't really work out. And she basically pushed that buyer back to the other agents. And I ended up getting nothing. I spent
Hmm.
so much time and energy on this thing, and I feel like she just didn't even advocate for me at that
Right.
point. Or even throw me a bone with the listing side because I did all the
Right.
work.
And that is not thank you so much for sharing that. That is not uncommon in our industry on a team level. I am teaching Teams 101 next Thursday at 10 o'clock. This is really about agent attraction and attracting people to your company or organization. Being a team leader has a totally different responsibility and a different way to run. But what you had was an experience that told you she didn't trust you, right? She did not ask enough about your previous experience to know what your skill set was, to give you enough inch of rope to be able to figure it out on your own what your lane was or what your style was. And a lot of team leaders are very protective of what they've built, rightfully so in being protective. But in my opinion, again, if you're going to run a team, you need to work on your leadership skills. You need to work on how you operate because what happens for most people is that uh, what's the word I'm looking for? The lifeline, like the longevity of a team member is typically a year to a year and a half max. Very rarely do people stay on a team longer than that because you're doing the lion's share of the work and typically getting the smallest piece of the pie, right? And there's a lot of resentment that builds there. There's a lot of, especially when you get to a certain level of competency where you know that you can do it on your own or there's a way you want to do it that's not their way. And that's where you're going to come to a head. One thing the reason I asked you guys about this is because in both of your experiences, you guys can identify gaps that you already have the solution for, right? You already know that this is a very common thing in our industry, right? Having a team, making a lot of money off of your team members where they're doing a lot of the work and I'm supporting them by providing them leads or support or whatever I'm providing. But the reality is that we are very lucky that we have an ability to make money off of other agents without having to have that level of leadership if we choose not to. You can still make money off of other agents and their productivity without creating a team, right? The other part is that our company, and forgive me if I'm talking to somebody who's not at our company, is that our teams division, the requirement to have a team at the very minimum is a 5% override. So you don't have to create a team where you're charging 50%. You can create teams where there's some leverage there, where you can be competitive with other teams, where we provide the same tools, resources, and everything to support a team without you having to earn it off the backs of all the people and your people get mad and leave, right? Your involvement of that team can look very different. Now, some people are not willing to do a team and that responsibility and liability and time for 5% over, whatever they sell. That's just not enough. But The point is that you can create a team and not be demanded or commanded that you have to charge 50% or 30% or 40%. Because I want you to think about the math ain't mathin'. When the company is taking 15 or 20%, and in our instance 15, and then you're charging a 50-50 split, the people who are doing all the work are getting the pennies left over. Are you going to stay long term if that's what you're doing? If you're burning the candle at both ends to make 35%? No way. But we have solutions for that. We are set up in a way that allows you to build a team in lots of different ways. We have family teams, we have power teams, we have a team in name only, right? We have lots of structures that support teams if you're interested in doing that. And if you don't want to have a team at all, and you just want to build an organization that then you can hand off to local leaders and still have minimal involvement, you have the ability to do that. Okay, you have options. And what I love about this business is options mean that there's something different for you and me. We don't have to be forced into the same thing. Okay. So I want you to be honest with yourself about these types of things is what kind of leader do I commit to being? How involved do I want to be? And realistically, how much time do I have to allocate to supporting my organization? Because I'm sorry, that's another leadership skill that I think needs to be addressed. You might be the best recruiter on the planet, but if you can't support the people once you bring them in with any time, then are you doing them a disservice? Okay. So I want you to be real honest. What kind of leader do I want to be and what can I commit to? How do I want agents to feel under my leadership? I want them to feel supported. I want them to feel like I'm approachable if they have questions. If people are on my team and they're mad, I want them to be able to come talk to me, not everybody else. I don't want them to leave because they got mad about something, a decision that I made. You have to be approachable. You have to also be a good listener. You have to listen for the things that are not said sometimes. Can you tell that your organization, the people in your organization are frustrated? Are they asking you for things that you're not able to deliver? Are you listening to their concerns? If they tell you that they're frustrated because they haven't had a sale in 6 months, are you doing anything to help them? Or are you just hoping they sell something and you can make 10 bucks? You know it's more than 10 bucks, but you know what I'm getting at, right? What standards am I unwilling to compromise? If you've been in any one of my classes, you know I talk about non-negotiables. For me, dishonesty with clients or with me is non-negotiable, period. If you do not follow the ethical standards that I have for my team and my organization, you're gone. And I have fired people from my team for being dishonest, for not being forthright, for not following the ethical guidelines that we have. I've had team members who owed me a team split and who skirted the system on the CDA and never paid me, and they were removed from the team because that is an ethical violation to me. You know you're responsible for paying me and you decided to try to do it without, right? It's not okay. Leadership is not about control, Janine, right? Leadership is not about control or titles. It's about consistency. It's about integrity. And it's about care. And this is the part where you're going to shine. The agents that you are trying to attract to your organization, they must know that you care about their success. They must know that you care enough when you see them struggling that you're going to be there to hold their hand, that you're going to help them figure out what's wrong. You're going to help them strategize to see what they could do differently to earn a dollar, right? That you're going to help them figure out what their lane is so that they can have success. That you're going to give them support and tools or maybe help them learn a strategy or skill that they didn't have that's going to better prepare them. But they must know that you care about them if you expect loyalty, because that's the thing. Most of us building an organization or a team, we're expecting these people to be loyal to us and our business because we're providing things to them, whether that's leads or additional support or additional training or coaching, or maybe I give them, lock boxes or I pay their dues or whatever my incentive is for them. I'm expecting a certain level of loyalty. And the reality is, did you earn that loyalty. It's not given, it's earned. The next page, we're talking about an ideal agent profile. Now, this is for me. Some of you are going to say, whatever, dude. I don't care what their profile is or what their criteria. Do they have a license and are they selling anything? That's some people's criteria. Okay. For me, that doesn't work. I want to work with people I like. I want to support people that I think have a chance in this business, right? I want to support people that, given the right tools and support, I know can be successful, right? But I want to ask you, does it do you any good to bring somebody to this business or this industry that does not have people skills, does not know how to talk to people, doesn't leave their house, they barely have enough money to pay for their license? Are you really setting them up for success? Are you being honest with them about what it takes to be successful in this business? Are you walking them through the pros and cons? And let's talk about whether or not I really have a solution that can help you. Because there are people that I've interviewed that they have begged me, hey, I want to come work with you. And I'm sorry, they just don't meet my criteria. Because if I'm going to invest time, energy, and money into someone, I want to make sure that I'm investing in people that meet my criteria. Their criteria doesn't have to be production, it can be whatever you want it to be. But for me, my criteria is more about characteristics that tell you who you are. It's about your character, it's about your skill set. I think you can teach anybody to be successful in this business if they have enough drive, right? If they are invested in sharpening their own skill set to be successful. But when I see internal characteristics that are in direct conflict for me, they're not open to feedback. They're not coachable. They don't respect people and people don't respect them. Those are not people that I want to invest my time, energy, and money into. So you get to decide for yourself, just like your clients, who do you want to support and who gets the benefit of your time, energy, and money. Okay? I want you to choose what characteristics are important to you. You may have income production requirements, but here's the thing I want to caution you about that. I have recruited agents or attracted agents from other companies who they had been somewhere else for a year, maybe 2 years, and sold nothing. Nothing. And within 6 months or 2 months of being working with me with our support and our tools, they're producing income. So the history doesn't always tell the future. Not always, right? Sometimes those agents were left to figure it out on their own with no support, no skills, no systems, no tools. They had whatever was available to them. And maybe they weren't that resourceful, right? But you get to decide, hey, is there a client, agent avatar that I'm looking to attract, that I want to work with, that is easier for me to recruit than others, right? So this is about you finding your sweet spot. Who is on your target? Who's on your target list, right? For some people, the new agent is a sweet spot. Because for me, I teach a broker boot camp class that teaches agents from start to finish everything they don't know and they didn't learn in licensing. That's the competency part, right? Maybe for me, the mid-level agent, I can take a $3.5 million producer and I can turn them into a $10 million producer. I can take a brand new agent who's frustrated not getting anywhere and get them on our systems and our tools with my coaching and get them producing. You might have a high producer that is a $10 million producer, but they want to be a $25 million producer. Do you have the ability to grow people? That is a leadership skill. And if you don't have it, you are so blessed that you work at a company where you have access to all the people who do, right? You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to pay for it. You just have to ask for it, right? So, what is the criteria that you want your people to have? I will tell you too. Maybe for you, this company has done such a great job in creating products like the white label that's coming. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but we have the ability to recruit brokerage owners or teams that have their own branding, they've had their own outfit or their own company, they can come to Epic and let us handle all the operations and give them all of our tools, and they get to keep their branding. But we take on the liability and we take on the operations. For someone who's owned two brokerages before, the brokerage owners and team leaders are on my hit list because I know their pain points. I know what they're struggling with. I know they're wearing 42 hats and they really only want to wear four, right? Maybe they're at capacity. As a brokerage owner, I will tell you too, the margins are very slim. You guys think we're over here as brokerage owners just rolling in the $100 bills. But let me tell you what we're not doing. We have invoices that are coming, whether you sell something or not, right? Those contracts that we sign for tools and support and all this technology that you guys have access to, you have to enter into long-term contracts with those vendors. So if you don't use Lofty, I still got to pay for your seat and you haven't even logged in a year. And y'all don't think about that because you're like, well, what are you offering me? What's in it for me? But as the brokerage owner, I'll tell you what's in it for you. Opportunity if you use it, right? And so I'm just telling you who is your target client that you want to attract. We have solutions for the brokerage owner who is not making enough money for the hours that they're putting in and for what they're spending to make the money that they're making. We can handle the operations. We can absorb their people. They can still keep all the income that they're generating from their team in the way that we have it set up, but they get to offload a lot of the responsibility to us. That's beautiful. That's an opportunity that a lot of people don't have. Okay? I want you to think about pain points and frustrations. This is your magic. This is your magic wand. But it starts with you listening. It starts with you interviewing agents and just talking to them about their business. Here's the thing I want to say. If you are calling, you've established this list, you've got come up with a list of agents that you want to attract. You've decided you're going to call them and you're going to ask them about their business or try to invite them to an event or whatever. My advice to you is organic methods are more about tell me what's happening in your business right now. How are you doing? How are things going? Did you meet your numbers last year? I didn't. I didn't meet my goals last year. But I had a category 5 hurricane and 2 deaths in my house, right? So there are reasons why, but I want you to ask them. If you can find out what the pain points and frustrations are of the agent, most of which you know, most agents have inconsistent paychecks. It's the number one thing. It's the first one on the list for a reason. Why do people get out of this business? Because they can't afford to stay in it. So they need a check. They need benefits. They need regular income. So inconsistent paychecks is a pain point that most agents have. Do we have solutions for that? What is our solution for inconsistent paycheck? If I were the agent you were trying to recruit, and that is my biggest pain point, what would you say to me to resolve the inconsistent paycheck that I've experienced in the past? Y'all don't fight me talking over me now. I'll wait. Anybody got anything they would say? Well, let me tell you what I would say since nobody wants to jump in. Oh, Christy, were you about to hit that unmute button? No?
I'm think I'm frozen.
No, you're good. I hear you.
So I was thinking consistency. A lot of people, what I've found, they don't actually treat real estate like if they were going to work for someone else, like they're punching a clock. And so they're not necessarily holding themselves accountable like they would if they worked
Yep.
for someone else.
Yep.
With consistency, what you do today might pay off in 30, 60, or 90 days.
Agreed.
Just because you get that contract doesn't mean you stop. You can't stop and celebrate. You have to keep going.
Right. What pays me tomorrow is based on the actions I did today, right? The way I would reframe that, Christy, or the way that I would phrase that would be if your struggle has been inconsistent paychecks, what we teach here are systems that are proven to produce more consistent paychecks. We teach habits and systems and structure where maybe you didn't have at another brokerage, but we teach you that so that you can get consistent income. Does that sound like something that you could say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't necessarily have I can't offer a guarantee of a consistent paycheck. I can't provide that for them because that's dependent on what they do, right? But what I can guarantee is that I can teach them how to get more consistent paychecks. I can connect them with all the training that we have that's going to build systems and structure that's going to lead to consistent paychecks, right? I can help evaluate their strategies that they've been doing and help tweak those so that their paychecks are more consistent. I can tell them what kinds of things to do on a daily basis to build their business to produce more consistent paychecks. I can also teach them how to be better with their money. I can connect them with our financial advisor. I can connect them with our Financial Fridays and Epic Essentials where they're learning money. They're learning how to leverage their money. That can also help solve some of the inconsistent paychecks that they have. We might still have inconsistent paychecks, but how they use their money and their opportunities to earn more money might alleviate the inconsistent paychecks. Does that make sense? I want you to start with each one of the problems and figure out how do I overcome that? The thing about predictable income, most agents will say, I don't have predictable income because they don't know where their next check's coming from. They don't even know where their next client is coming from. So, what I would say to that is, I can show you how to create predictable income. And I have several methods to do that. One of those is the revenue share. That is predictable income for me at a minimum because I have a certain number of agents in my organization that I know how much they sell and that I am continuing to pour into them so they get consistent growth. And now I've produced predictable income for myself on just one avenue. For real estate, the predictable income comes from the routine, the structure, the systems, the automation. Okay? Do you guys see how I'm going through each one of the pain points and I'm trying to give you language that what do we have in our toolbox to confront the problems that they have? Little to no brokerage support, we already know that's a home run. We have more support than any company out there at a local level, at a statewide level, and at a corporate wide level. Poor leadership or no direction. Our leaders are not picked just because they raise their hand. Our leaders are taken through rigorous training programs that they have to take. They have to meet certain production criteria, right? They have to offer up a certain amount of time a month to work on their leadership skills. They have requirements to check on you a certain number of times a month, right? So, can you explain to somebody about the kind of support that we offer? Because you already know most companies don't offer any of that. Okay. Feeling undervalued. Does anybody want to take a stab at how they would explain this one? Think about your own experience. How do you feel valued at this company?
For me, I would go into, we're all here to support you. The support here is amazing. It doesn't have to just be me. I have, Christy that's immediately above me. I have everybody, close by, even though they're not immediate, even though we're not brick and mortar, there's always somebody with office hours available, or, there's always a leader somewhere close by that you can reach out to.
Yes, love that. The other thing, Larissa hit it right on the head. This is what I wanted her, this is what I was going for. More than anywhere else, she has just felt like a number at other places. I hear that over and over and over again from agents. I'm just another agent on the roster. They don't care if I sell anything or not, right? This is where we shine. This is where we show our difference. Most of us as area leaders are taught to work on production with our agents that are our mentees, right? If they haven't sold anything, our job is to check in and make sure that they're supported, that they have what they need. What's going on in their personal lives that is getting in the way of their business? And what can we do to help? But what I say to people is that at this company, I have never felt like I matter anywhere else, right? I have been treated like I matter across the board. And sometimes I'll tell them the example of when we had the Category 5 hurricane here. The CEO of our company gave me money out of his own pocket to buy us groceries and dog food when we were buried under the river. Okay, that's how you know you're not just a number. You're not just an agent on a roster. They care about you. So, how can you explain that to people, right? We want our agents to feel valued. Every benefit that we choose is based on how we can support your business as a human. Our mental health benefits show that we care about you as a person, a whole person, not just how much money we can make off of you. Okay. Where can you intertwine some of the benefits that we have to make people feel like they're not just another number? I'm not going to go through each one of these with you, but what I would want you to do is to go through each one of these pain points or frustrations and figure out what your solution that your company provides or you as a person would help to deal with some of these pain points and frustrations. Because here's what I'm here to tell you. When you solve the problems that people have, the frustrations, the concerns, the fears, you become the hero in their story. You become the solution to something that they didn't think was possible. You change the way they approach their business, the way they think about their career, because you have solutions in place for the problems. Okay? It's the same with your clients. If you can solve the problems that your clients have or the frustrations that they have, the concerns and fears that they have, you are building trust. You are lowering and disarming them, right? They are more vulnerable. They're more open with you. They feel safer with you. So I want you to think about somebody who is entrusting you with something that's very important to them. It's their livelihood, the way that they support their family, the way they feed themselves. They are handing that over to you and trusting you with that decision. It's a big decision. And what you want to do is let them know that they're safe. The problems and frustrations and concerns that they had, we have solutions for. This is a different company. You must lean in on the difference that makes us epic. What makes us unique? Just like I teach you guys with sales, with buyers and sellers. What makes you different? If you are in a position of agent attraction and you're trying to recruit people, you've got to know what makes you different from other agencies, from other firms. Your pain points are going to allow you to do that. Everybody understand that? Y'all on board? Am I losing you to the afternoon lull? Wake up. I haven't eaten lunch yet either. Come on. All right. I want you to think about, here's one thing that I love about this, about agent attraction. When I first got licensed, I was ripe old 19 years old, young buck, didn't know anything, trying to convince the whole world that they should trust this 19-year-old girl with the most expensive purchase they've ever made, right? What I didn't know was I thought that the only way I made money at 19 years old was to sell houses in Virginia Beach, Virginia, or in Tidewater, right? That's all I knew. That's how I earned a living. But one of the things that I've learned after 25 years and that this company gives us is that we have the freedom to make money globally, outside of our local economy, outside of our city bounds, our county borders, right? So you can decide your greatest attraction starts closest to you, in proximity to you. You have the most influence over the people that you interact with the most. So that means your local market. People I have worked with, I have impressed, I have done a deal with, people that I socialize with, but we work at different companies. I want to remind you guys, we're not in a gang. You can hang out with each other even if you work at different companies. Okay? You can sit here, I promise. There's always a seat at my table. Are you guys projecting that? Are you sharing that with people? Are you letting them know that we open our doors to everybody because we want you to be included? We don't want this to be a secret. I want to share this with you because this is the best solution I've ever found for my career. And I will be here until I die, just so you know, or retire, because y'all know I ain't dying. I'm retiring. Okay? Have you ever been to a retirement party of a realtor? I ask this all the time. And everybody says nope, because they don't retire, they die. I am retiring, not dying. Okay? And so are you. You want to start with your local market, and then you want to expand from there, and you want to say, who do I have national reach to? This could be people you've met at conferences, people that you met at networking events, people that you've interacted with on a mastermind class, right? You want to have a long-term hit list of at least 200 to 300 agents that you can pour into those relationships, that you can talk in and check in once a quarter. Hey, how's the market going in Houston right now? How's the market in Virginia Beach? Right? Hey, I'm seeing a shift in our local market. I'm just curious, is that happening with you too? Right? Hey, I posted this thing last week, a lead magnet that just went crazy. Like I had over 300 people request it. I know you work with the same type of buyers I do. Would you like for me to share it with you? Did I ask for anything in return? Am I selling them anything? Would you be open to receiving something that you think could help you in your business? Yes, that's your way in the door. That's your way to start the conversation. It's a way for you to be authentic and genuine, not salesy and a doofus. Okay? The next part is the beautiful part, which is global expansion, right? We can now make money in other countries. We can now make money beyond the borders of our state, our county, our city. Okay? We have the ability to also attract global agents. So think about that. The one thing I want to tell you right now, this is a very important principle. If you're going to work in agent attraction at all, you don't make assumptions. You know what assumptions do? I know you know it, right? Everybody knows it. Don't make assumptions. Do not assume that people would never leave. Don't assume that they bleed teal if they have been at exit for 25 years, like or 10 years, whatever. Don't assume that they are too big or too small to leave. Do not assume that they don't need the solutions that we have. You don't know what somebody's pain point is, and it is not always commission. I'll tell you that right now. Very rarely is it commission. Most of the time, the people that come to me because they don't feel seen. They know they're capable of more, but they're not getting support. Or maybe they have a difference of opinion with the leadership in their company, or they get no leadership, right? I will tell you that there have been people that I did not make recruiting calls on because I assumed, oh my God, they will never leave that company. They eat, sleep, and breathe that company. They drink in the Kool-Aid. There's no way. And then one of my friends calls them the next week, and guess who joined Epic with their 50-person organization? But I didn't call them because I said, you know what? They're not leaving. Don't make the assumption. You don't know what you don't know until you ask. You don't know what their pain points are. And you don't know what the one solution is that you can provide that is all the difference in them joining our company. Don't make assumptions, okay? You should have some type of funnel to bring your people down the pike, right? Remember, I told you should have a list of about 200, 300 agents. Some of you might have a list of 1,000, right? Depends on how big you want your organization to be and how quickly you want to grow and how much time you're willing to dedicate to having these conversations with agents, right? This is not a short game. I want you to understand that. Agent attraction does not happen overnight. I'm not going to have one call with you and all of a sudden you're like, please take my business, right? It's not going to happen. Agents are hesitant to change because there's money involved, there's reputation involved, and there's ego involved. Sometimes there's even feelings. You know, people have those feelings, like they care about their broker. They have a personal relationship. I could never leave her for what she's done for me. Girl, you ain't sold nothing in 3 years. What has she done for you? Right? So I'm just saying you don't know what, but I will tell you they don't make a change overnight. This is a longer term game that has to be more authentic and genuine, and it takes time to build that. You're not going to do that overnight. Okay? Just know that. But the way the funnel works is the first step of it is they are aware of you. They've heard of Epic. Maybe they've heard of you. Maybe they've worked with you before. That's their awareness. As you bring them down the funnel, the next stage is engagement. How are you engaging with these agents? Are you inviting them to events? Girl, I say girl because I think all the dudes dropped off, including my son. Maybe he's still here. Oh no, he's still here. I'm sorry. I was on a Tennessee state call this morning And there are, I think, no less than 12 events across the state of Tennessee this month, right? Are you inviting agents from other companies to the events that we're hosting? Are you encouraging them to attend a training that you went to? Last week we had open training. Epic Essentials was open to every agent, anybody. Anybody could come. Are you leveraging those times where it's open to invite people to see what we do? To show them, not tell them, show them. When you invite an agent to an event, your job is to make them feel welcome, to make them feel included, to show them that we're not in a gang and that this is not the mean girls table, is to show them that you're welcome here, even if you don't work here. Does that make sense? Yes? The engagement part is, how are you engaging with them? Are you sending them helpful things to help them run their business? Are you checking in on them? Are you even just asking simple questions like, are you okay? Did you survive the storm? Do you guys have power? Do you need anything? We're not in a gang. I can still help you. Okay? You're my friend. Be human. And then the last part is conversion. So this is the part that a lot of people struggle with because they don't, and I'll say this for my friends in the South. I don't know if I got any people from up north here. Do I have anybody from up north above the Mason-Dixon? All right, Lisa, where are you from? So
I'm
sorry.
I'm from outside Syracuse, New York.
Okay. All right. So Lisa is my cranky Yankee. I'm just kidding. I love you too. I'm just kidding. That's what I'm just kidding. But what I say is Southerners, they tend to struggle with the closure because they feel salesy. They feel pushy, right? Us Southerners, we tend to tiptoe around things. We tend to like gently say things because we don't want to come off as rude or pushy. Northern people don't have that problem. They say what they think, right? They cut right to the chase. They typically tell you how they feel. You don't have to ask. You know right where they stand. Southerners will fake that shit left and right and then say, bless your heart, right?
I think the Midwest is similar though.
Yes, I agree with you there. Thank you. Thank you for that perspective, Ruth. I appreciate that. So, what I want to ask you is that in conversion, you have to ask closing questions like a pulse check. So some of the pulse checks that I use are if you and I believe the same things and we want better for our business, what's stopping us from working together? What's keeping you from working with me? Uncover the truth. Uncover what their hesitation is. Uncover what's holding them back from saying, yes, sign me up. Yes, I want to be a part of this. But you have to ask the question. If you believe what I believe, and we know we have better things to do. Sorry, Christy. Thanks for showing up, babe. I'm almost done anyway. I'm bringing her home. Thank you for being here. I want you to not be afraid to ask the agent, hey, is there something about my company that's holding that you haven't heard yet? Is there something I haven't told you yet that would help you make this decision? That would make this decision easier? Is there something that I haven't shown you yet that you've been waiting to hear? So the reason I asked that question, I learned this a long time ago. I was at a listing appointment. I know this has nothing to do with agent attraction, but bear with me a second. I'm old and I can talk about this. Is my channel. I can talk however I want. I just have to keep you guys entertained. I was at a listing appointment and I did my whole presentation. I knew they were going to hire me. We had a relationship, and I walked out of there assuming that they were going to hire me, right? I get the call that an hour later, no, we went ahead and hired this other girl from this other firm. And I was dumbfounded. It's happened to all of us. I know that. But I was dumbfounded and I said, well, may I ask, what made you choose her over me? I want to know legitimately so that I can have a better understanding and maybe I can improve. And she said, well, they offered property management and you never mentioned that you did that. So we assumed you didn't. So after that instance, I have always asked, is there something you're waiting on for me to tell you, or is there something I have not told you that you need to hear to feel comfortable working with me? Is there something you need to know to make you feel more comfortable about working with me? For agents, that might be that you need to show them, not tell them. It might mean that you need to include them in several things before they're willing to leap. It might mean that you need to connect them with people higher up in leadership or other people in your organization that have influence as well, right? People that have connections that they can resonate with, people that are going to treat them the way we know they're going to be treated once they get here. Who is in your circle that can give them a better experience? Who is in their circle that can help convince them that you're the right fit? I want you to understand that your awareness phase might take a little while. I talked with a girl earlier in the week from Ohio, but she's in a place in Ohio where we don't have Epic yet. There's nobody there. So she's still in the awareness phase. She doesn't know how big our company is. She doesn't know. She's never heard of it. She's never done any research on it. She doesn't know anything. So that means I've got to spend time in the awareness section of that funnel to make sure she knows everything that we do and we offer. But one thing that I want to advise you and caution you about is you cannot do a benefit dump on people. A benefit dump means I'm going to sit here and read through all the benefits that we have and talk about each one of them with you. You're not going to listen to that. We live in an ADD society. Nobody wants to pay attention that long. Y'all are struggling to listen to me for an hour, right? So you're not going to listen to me do a benefit dump. No one wants to hear that. But what you can ask are, have you looked at any of the benefits that we offer? Are there any that stick out to you that as being important? Are there any benefits that you hope that we have? Because we're always looking for benefits to add. Are there things that you might need? Right? The relationship part is where you're engaging with these people. You're building trust. You're checking in on them. You're sending them items of value. You are looking to them to see, like, how else can I support you and commit to you and show you that this is the kind of support you're going to get? And we haven't even gotten started. You don't even have full access to all the stuff that I'm going to give you and show you and support you. But how can I help support your business along the way while I'm cultivating this relationship with you? That's the relationship stage. And then the alignment part is that agents that you are actively leading and investing in. You get people on board. You get people to say, yes, tell me more. Yes, sign me up. Yes, let's have lunch and talk about it more. Can you send the presentation to me? Right? Or how do I get to the level that you're at? Is there leadership opportunity for me? There are agents. This is the other part about assuming. A lot of agents in this career, especially if they've been in this business for more than 5 or 7 years, some of those people are looking about where their business is headed, where their career is going. Is there opportunity for growth? There are agents who have been stuck at a $10 million plateau for 5, 6 years. They can't just ever seem to get to the next level. Or maybe they've been in a broker role or a team leader role and they want to be an area leader or a broker or a state leader. We have opportunities for that. We have opportunities for leadership everywhere in our company. So how do you figure out what the agent needs so that you can decide what it is that you can show them to make that decision easier? I did give you a blank hit list. You just write their names at each level. Who's in the awareness, who's in the relationship, and who's being converted as we speak. The conversion strategy, and I'm going to hurry this up here because I know I already lost half of y'all. What does my ideal agent need to see to feel confident joining? Because they can hear, here's the thing. Here's something I want you to focus on. Every time I've ever been in a recruiting appointment with some broker, some team leader, somebody who's trying to recruit me, it's always kind of been the same. They tell, 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 tell. And they're really good at their pitch. They've got that pitch down, right? They know exactly what to say when. They know which questions to ask to make me feel important. They walk me around the office to show me the space, to get me all excited about what it would look like to work here, all of those things. And then they tell me what it would look like for me to be there. And so what I'm asking you is, what do they need to see and feel, not just hear? What do they need to see and feel to feel confident joining? Maybe that's where you connect them with leadership. Maybe you show them some of the proven systems that we use. Maybe you show them the training portal and show them all the training opportunities we have. Maybe you invite them to one of my agent masterminds, which are always on the first Thursday of every month, right? Those are open to agents everywhere because what? We not in a gang. They're open to everybody, okay? Maybe you are showing them the support just by showing up and you're showing them examples of support that our agents are get. The way that I do this is through storytelling. So I give them examples I used Felicia as an example recently. Okay. Felicia has been licensed about 7, 8 weeks now, right? Where are we at? 8 weeks, maybe? Just shake your head. Yes, if that, yeah, about there. I used Felicia as an example and said, Felicia has just been licensed only 7 or 8 weeks. She literally had her first listing appointment this week and signed her first buyer's rep. In the storytelling, people can see themselves. They can say, well, if that can happen to her, that can happen for me. The storytelling shows people that it's possible, right? It shows them that, hey, this girl, like, they're actually doing stuff over there. They're actually selling stuff. They're not just bringing people to collect agents. We're collecting agents that are producing, that are actually earning money. Does that make sense? So tell the stories that make it relatable to other people. I often use in my recruiting too. And she turned a client down. Girl, I'm so proud of you for that. I'll go on about that for days, probably weeks actually. Of being able to say no to a client is a powerful decision. It means that you are making CEO decisions for your business. And the same thing goes with agent attraction. You can say no to people who are not a good fit. I will say for me, as having been a brokerage owner and a broker of my own firms before, I would not hire somebody who's had problems with their license in the past, that's had complaints filed against them, that's had ethics violations, right? Those matter to me. That's indicative. And then remember, if you're the broker, you're responsible for these people. Your license is on the line for the things that they do. So I'm not going to recruit just anybody so that I can make $1. I'm going to recruit the right people that help us build this company one agent at a time, that we're proud of, that we want to work with. I often use the financial piece, right? So for me, I tell people I'm 50, I'm thinking about my retirement, I'm planning for retirement, and this company has given me more paths to retirement than anywhere else I've worked. Those paths happen to be revenue share, stock, right? It happens to be the ability to make money in lots of different ways through the Power Academy, through my coaching that they allow me to do, right? That they support me doing within this organization. So talk about some of the financial clarity pieces. The fact that we have a 401k that's managed and the fee is paid for by our firm, and the firm pays for the financial planning blueprint. That's like a $3,500 cost. Do you know that? Do y'all know that the firm pays for that for us? Right? That's a financial piece that it's like, damn, my company doesn't even offer a 401k, much less matching. And they paid for the financial advice. That's because they care about me and my financial future and my financial health. Because when I'm struggling financially, I don't make good business decisions, right? That's how you hit home that this is more about you as a number, you as an agent. That's how you hit home that you matter. You give these kinds of examples that show people this is more than a real estate company. This is a company that's going to support your whole business, whatever business you choose, whatever lane of real estate you choose to be in. Okay. We talked about the growth path and leadership. Community. I lump in community and culture. Culture is very important to a lot of agents in our industry right now, especially at a cloud-based brokerage. And a lot of agents are going to have some resistance to you because we are cloud-based. And one of the things that I want you to understand is that you can create culture without having a brick and mortar building. We have it. You can show videos of our conferences. You can show videos at our events. You can show how each agents are stepping up to support each other when they don't even really know each other that well. They've only met at conferences. The culture is important. This business can be very isolating because we work from home. We don't interact with agents in an office talking about the scuttlebutt of the weekend and the favorite show we're watching, right? But we're building culture in other ways. We're building culture by supporting each other. We're building culture by showing up for each other. We're building culture by pouring into each other when we don't have a financial incentive to do so. That's culture. That culture is important for a lot of people because a lot of agents feel like they're out on an island all by themselves sink or swim. So culture might be the way you get in with somebody if that's important to them. Your job is to uncover what matters to them most. And it is not commissions always. I promise you that. So I want you to ask yourself, how will I show you this, not tell you this? You're going to have some objections. I've given you guys some objections and responses. People are going to say, "Hey, I'm really happy where I am." Remember I told you this is not a short game, this is a long game, right? I'm really happy where I am. You might say something like, "Hey, I'm so glad that you're happy where you are. Can you tell me what's working well for you right now?" That's not a sales pitch. That's me learning about your business. What do you think is working well? Why are you happy there? What do you love about your company? Right? It's just about planting small seeds and watching them bloom. I've given you some objections, I've given you some responses. I've also talked about the kind of support that you can give your agents that are going to make a big difference. Right from onboarding, you should have some systems that have a clear orientation that tells people where they can find things, how they can sign up for their benefits, how do they learn all things Epic. Remember, when they're first moving over from one company to another or they're brand new in the business, they are drinking from a fire hose and it's coming at them fast. They're learning all the tools, all the technology, all the systems, what the calendar of events are. What am I supposed to be doing on a daily basis? They are spinning in 100 directions. Do you have the ability to slow that down for them and help them absorb the things into bite-sized pieces and let them know that this transition is going to take a little time, but I'm going to be there with you over the next 90 days to hold your hand. And I have a system that I'm going to use to help us get through all the stuff, and you still get to run your business while you're onboarding and learning all things Epic. That's important. It's important to let them know that you're going to be with them all. You're not going to just bring them in and dump them. Okay. I think that's the 30 day, and then I've given you the 60, then the 90 day, and then the last part I've given you is kind of a leadership checklist. This is going to help you. Did you help your agents understand their expectations and standards? Do they know what they're responsible for? Do they know how success is measured in your organization? Are you acknowledging the people that you bring into the organization? I am literally shouting from the rooftops every time they have a closing, every time they get a listing, every time they sign an agreement, when they have a birthday, when they have an anniversary, when they just happened to step out of their comfort zone and did something that was not usual for them. I'm celebrating all of those things because that's how you make people feel seen and heard. That's how you make people feel valuable. And most companies, they don't give a crap that you signed your first listing. They only care about the top 20 people that are listing in their office. But I want to celebrate every small win along the way. And I want to shout it from the rooftop so they know how proud of them I am and that that's the kind of support they can expect from me. But you also need to make sure you're consistent. If you're going to do it for one, you do it for all. Don't make people feel like they're not worthy of your attention. Okay. I've given you a checklist here so that you can kind of go through and measure your leadership. Are you helping people feel welcomed and valued? Or do they feel safe asking questions? Are you able to address issues quickly? Is training accessible? Are the systems easy to use? This is a great checklist for you just to check in with yourself to say, am I even close to showing up for these people the way they deserve? And I know I'm hokey, like I'm big brain idea, kind of like all of my feelings. Like I believe that agents deserve a brokerage that supports them exactly where they are with the tools and resources that they need to be successful with opportunity for growth. Do you have a belief statement like that that you can share with an agent that tells them and shows them that you care? I would encourage you to create one. I've given you a checklist for your tech and systems. Do your agents know how to use their CRM? Are you using your CRM to track your agents that you're talking to? Right? Some of you have never even logged in. Remember, I told you it costs them $1,000 whether you log in or not. May not be 1,000, but they're paying for it. You better use it, right? Because that's money they could be using on something else. Are you tracking the people you talk to? Do you have follow-up systems in place to where you're staying in touch with these people? Remember, I told you it's a longer game. Most of you don't have the attention span to go beyond the first 2 weeks. But do you have a plan in place that allows you to stay in front of those people 6 months from now, 8 months from now? Okay, 30 days from now. What kinds of collateral materials do you need? When I first joined Epic, the first thing I did was put together a presentation that I could then email out to anybody who was interested in Epic. I didn't just send them to the Epic website. I took all the slicks and PDFs off of our website and put it into this big, beautiful presentation. I will share that with you guys. I will share my presentation with you guys so that you have it. But what collateral materials do you need to show people what Epic is about? I will tell you with the benefits dump, and I've seen this probably 286 times. Most agents will just go to that slick in the Epic Canva account that has all the benefits listed and they just post that online because it's kind of impressive. But what's more powerful is highlighting the benefits one or two at a time and telling stories about how those benefits changed and impact people's lives. Right? The mental health benefit saved my life. I was actually going to end my life, and I called the mental health hotline that we have access to, and I got access to 12 sessions for free that brought me out of a very dark place. And it didn't cost my family any financial money. It did not cause a burden on my family to get me help. They literally saved my life. And this is a very deep story and it's very personal to me, but my point to you is that how can you highlight the benefits without doing a benefit dump that is relatable to the agents that you're talking to? Okay. Um, the last thing I have for you is your final reflection and action. I want you guys to say what shifted for you as you worked through this material. How did your thoughts about agent attraction change from what you guys learned today? Do you see leadership as something different than you thought it was? Are you approaching agent attraction in a different way because of this class and this workbook? What insights or realizations did you guys walk away from this that maybe you're not ready to grow your organization? You're not willing to commit the time, right? Or maybe you're fired up now and you want to grow an organization and you want to make as much money as you possibly can so that you can retire or travel to freaking Bali, right? This is the thing that is beautiful about agent attraction is it is leverage. It is money. It's money freedom. If it is done correctly and you build an organization that you're proud of, that you can support, that revenue share check can be $2,500 and up with a decent amount. And that doesn't take very many agents. My revenue share checks are about $2,000 a month, and I have 23, 25 agents, and only about 12 are producing because the rest have full-time jobs and are not committed. But if you can recruit 12 people and earn $2,500 or $2,000, what would that $2,000 do for your family? How would that change the clients that you have to say yes to? If you knew you had a check every month coming that was $1,500 or $2,000, right? So the sky is the limit for you. Maybe you're inspired to at least just start talking to people. It does not have to be a full-on full court press with a launch and systems and all the stuff. I'm giving you the white picket fence way, right? But you can pick and choose what's for you. You can ease your toe into it and you can talk to one agent at a time, or you can go big. And you can go big and hit that list of targets and spend time cultivating those relationships and pouring into those agents and demonstrating for them what they can expect and then supporting them once they get here. The choice is yours. You get to decide what you do with it and how you spend your time. Okay? Any questions that I can answer or anybody have anything that they want to talk about before we head on out of here for this month? Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate you listening to me. I will send you guys my presentation so that you have that. I will tell
Thank
you
you.
that the one that I'm going to send to you, it is an older version. We've added a bunch of benefits since then, but you'll get the gist of what I'm talking about and what I send to people so that you can create your own, or we can, when mine is updated, I'll share you the new one. Okay? But I will send that to you. Don't forget that we have agent attraction every single month. Our next one is going to be March 5th. And that one is on winning more listings in a competitive market. So we're going to really go through how to get listings, how to source listings, how to, your listing presentation itself and the components, but not just telling you. I'm really going to give you some granular strategies on how to win a listing so that when you go to this listing appointment, you are walking out with the listing. Okay. So that is going to be on March 5th at 1 o'clock Eastern. Put it on your calendar. They're every month on the first Thursday. Anybody else have anything for me before I let you go? Yes, Heather.
Um, can we invite other agents to
Yes,
these?
those agent masterminds are open to everybody. And this is one of
Okay.
the things that I wanted to tell you guys is that use me, leverage me, and whoever else you have that is offering opportunities for other people. Anything that I do is always open to everybody. You know why?
Okay. Because we're not in a gang.
Yeah, girl. That's right. That's why, because we're not in a gang. Okay. Thank
Thank
you
you.
guys again so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope you learned something about it. If nothing else, I hope that it prepared you for another opportunity or presented an opportunity that maybe you haven't dove into yet or thought a lot about. But I want you guys to understand that this is a great opportunity for you to build additional streams of revenue simply by attracting people that you want to work with. It's not about recruiting. It's about attracting people that
Yeah.
you want to change their lives and bless their lives because you've given them an opportunity to do things a different way that's going to breed a better life, work life, and balance and enjoyment for them. Okay. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. I will send you guys an email shortly with the presentation and y'all go out and kill it today. Okay. Go sell something.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you so much for being here. I'll talk to you guys soon.